Good afternoon, everybody. This is Boomersdaddy with Spreadsheet Sports coming to you from a tilted Hall household. The OU Sooners absolutely laid an egg this morning against the Texas Longhorns, so I'm kind of tilted a little bit. But that's okay. We've got NFL tomorrow, and even though my Cowboys are going to get demolished by the Patriots, it's going to be a fun and profitable week. Hope you guys have a great week as well. And so let's get to it. These are some GPP plays. Basically, what I'm doing is I've given you about everybody from my player pool, both cash and GPP. There might be a couple that I missed that I didn't want to bog you guys down too much with, but they're very, very, very few. Because there's a lot of plays here that I have a inclination they're either in a good spot or are going to be low owned, so you can use them in tournaments, and they're going to be kind of nice plays anyway. So let's get to it. Quarterback. If you remember during baseball, I used the phrase a lot: capitalize off of chaos and turn chaos into cash. Well, we have that scenario this weekend with the Seattle Seahawks going to the Cincinnati Bengals. And Andy Dalton and that Cincinnati offense has been absolutely crazy. They've been going nuts. They've been scoring points. And we've seen it before, and in years past, the Seattle defense is not the same on the road. So now I know they have Cam Chancellor back, and they haven't allowed as many explosive plays since he's come back, but both of those games were at home. We still haven't seen it on the road, and I still think that they've got something to prove on the road. So I like Andy Dalton. He dumps it off to the running backs. He dumps it off to his tight end. He hits quick routes out of to his wide receivers, and he takes deep shots as well. So Marvin Jones would have had a touchdown catch last week if he hadn't dropped it. AJ Green obviously is AJ Green. He's one of the best wide receivers in football. So I don't have a problem going with Andy Dalton here in tournaments. He's going to be extremely low owned, and he has the capabilities with the offense that they run to have a very good game, even though it is against the Seattle defense. Now, the fact that it is against the Seattle defense means he's not going to be highly owned at all. And you're not only going to, it's kind of weird because normally Seattle is one of the most popular defenses on the week, and this week I don't think they're going to be highly owned either. So this is really, really, really kind of odd in that front. So, but I do like Andy Dalton. He's probably one of my top 3 GPP quarterbacks this week. So. The next one I like is Sam Bradford. Sam Bradford obviously is going to be running a lot of plays. They got going last week. Now, I do believe that you don't need to pair him with a wide receiver in order to be productive. Yes, you can pair him with Jordan Matthews, Nelson Aguilar. I don't mind either because he still got or hasn't got going yet, but I believe you can play Sam Bradford naked just because of the fact that they're going to spread the ball around, and that Philadelphia offense is going to run a lot of plays. Going up against one of the worst defenses in the NFL, it's never been a bad proposition to pick on a Rob Ryan led defense. So I do like Sam Bradford. I think the Eagles offense is starting to turn it around and turn the corner, and I do believe this is going to be one of the higher scoring games of the weekend. So I do like Sam Bradford. Blake Bortles. Blake has been chucking the ball all over the field. We saw it last week. We saw it last year. He has just absolutely been slinging the pigskin, so to speak. I like pairing him up with Allen Robinson this week. Robinson last week was kind of shadowed against Josh Norman. Not Josh Norman. I'm sorry. I drew a mind blank. I forgot who they played last week. It's been one of those weeks, so kind of forgive me a little bit. But I do like Allen Robinson. I don't mind going back to Allen Hurns, but I think you're chasing the points. But Blake Bortles is, I think, in a really, really good spot going against that Tampa Bay defense that we know has not been very good this year. So next is going to be obviously Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod has no Sammy Watkins, no LaShawn McCoy, no Booby or no Carlos Williams. It's all the Ty God, all the Charles Clay, and all the Boom and Booby. So you've got to he's got to have it somewhere. I like Percy Harvin in this spot as well. That Giants defense actually played very, very well last week, and Tyrod Taylor and Charles Clay could have had bigger games. Both had touchdowns that were called back, so I don't mind Tyrod in this spot either. So there's obviously a lot of merit to playing Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is going to be lower owned than Tom Brady just because across most of the sites he is cheaper. So I don't mind paying up to be a little bit contrarian there. Obviously, Tom Brady at home, Aaron Rodgers at home. It's a no-brainer there. So there's some merit going to there as well, but these are just some off-the-wall GPP plays that I will be putting in some of the tournaments across the DFS industry tomorrow. For running back, my top play is going to be TJ Yeldon. Obviously, I'm picking it once again on that Bucs defense. Don't mind that at all. He's getting over 20 touches a game. The only thing that's holding him back and holding his price down is the fact that he hasn't gotten in the end zone yet. So look for that to change this week. I also like DeMarco Murray. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I think DeMarco, who hasn't been on the injury report, has been a full practice participant all week. I think they're going to feed him the rock and start going and getting him going. I don't mind pairing him up with Sam Bradford for a kind of off-the-wall roster construction in your large field GPPs. And the reason I don't mind that is because DeMarco's going to catch balls out of the backfield. And the Eagles run so many plays that it's not going to matter. They can both put up monster days and not affect each other too much. So I don't mind that as kind of off-the-wall roster construction either. Another one that is going to be very, very low owned is going to be Amir Abdullah. We saw it in the preseason. Abdullah has elite talent to be able to break one to the house anytime. We didn't see it last week against Seattle, but it's the Seattle defense. So, and they were at home. The problem is that the Lions offensive line is one of the worst in football right now, and they can't block. So there's going to be a lot of dump-off passes, a lot of screen passes to both of these backs, both Theo Riddick and Amir Abdullah. And I think Abdullah at least finds the end zone this weekend, so he could be a nice little sleeper as well. Wide receiver. I'm going to fly through these kind of quickly here, try to keep you guys in and out pretty quick. So obviously, Leonard Hankerson had a huge game last week. I don't feel you're chasing the points, and the reason for that is because the Washington secondary is so bad, and I think that everybody, because of the fact that they're so bad, I think everybody's going to be on Julio Jones. So Jordan Matthews, obviously, pair him up with Sam Bradford, Nelson Aguilar as well. I'm not going to the Riley Cooper or Austin Miles bandwagon. I'm not digging that deep in order to get there. So Willie Snead, he's going to be extremely underowned because the only people that really know about him are the people in the DFS circles. And he's, even though that was a Sunday night game, he's still going to be low owned. And if you remember in my write-up, the Philadelphia Eagles have averaged the most plays per game since Chip Kelly came into the NFL. And the team that's second is anybody that's playing the Eagles. So that game is going to be really up in tempo. And I expect Drew Brees to find him with regularity. So let's see here. AJ Green, obviously, with not Carson Palmer. I'm going back to 2007. Andy Dalton, Kamar Aiken's going to get a bunch of the work. He's going to get the start. Chris Givens, Marlon Brown, I believe, are also going to be there. No Steve Smith this week. He's going to be out with a back injury. Percy Harvin, I've already mentioned. John Brown with Carson Palmer isn't going to be a bad one. Obviously, the Lions secondary played really well, but it was the Seattle wide receiving core. So the only one that's really a threat there is Jimmy Graham, and they haven't figured out how to use Jimmy Graham yet, so he wasn't even really a threat either. Let's see here. Mike Evans, after getting hardly any targets last week, after getting all the targets the week before, it's kind of been a back and forth thing with him and Vincent Jackson. So I think Mike Evans could be a really, really sneaky play as well. Megatron, that goes back to that capitalize off of chaos moment. Nobody likes to pick on the Arizona defense. They're a great defense. Their covering skills are not very good. They allow a lot of yards to the tight end. They allow a lot of yards to wide receivers. But where they make up for that is the sacks, the turnovers, the pick sixes, and the special teams touchdowns. So even though I like the Arizona defense as a good play this week as well, I do believe that Calvin Johnson is going to be extremely low owned because of what happened on Monday night, and he could get in the end zone, and he's been averaging over 10 targets a game. So the targets are there, the production just hasn't been, and he's still Calvin Johnson, and we kind of forget that from time to time. So let's see here. Pierre Garçon, they're going to be behind. I don't mind Jamison Crowder there either. The Falcons are going to go absolutely completely bonkers, and the Redskins are going to have to throw the ball. So Cole Beasley, Brandon Weeden likes to check down. That's why I like Jason Witten as well. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot because I don't foresee the Cowboys hanging around. I would be extremely ecstatic if it was within 14 points at halftime. But I don't foresee that. So Brandon Weeden's going to have to start throwing the ball, and they're going to have to push the ball downfield, but I don't foresee him doing that too much. So Cole Beasley and Jason Witten are both really, really sneaky under owned GPP plays, in my opinion, as well. Randall Cobb, he's going to go low owned just because of the fact that he's banged up with a shoulder. Everybody's going to be on James Jones rather than Randall Cobb. So where everybody likes to zig in tournaments, I like to zag, and I'm going to go Randall Cobb over James Jones. I'm going to pay up, and he's Aaron Rodgers' number one wide receiver, and since Aaron Rodgers has become the starter, his number one wide receiver has received at least 30% of the targets. So that's still Randall Cobb. James Jones is not a better talent than Randall Cobb. He's a GPP play only for me just because of the fact that this is football. He could land on his shoulder wrong and leave the game for an extended period of time or for the rest of the game. So that's why he's regulated to a GPP only for me. So I'm going to call it out right now. I think that if you are throwing in multiple teams in like the Millionaire Maker or into any GPP that's a larger size GPP, then I believe this guy is a good guy to take a shot on. It's Dorial Green-Beckham for the Tennessee Titans. He's got elite speed. They've been chattering for the last couple weeks through the bye that they want to get him more involved. He is got the capability to just absolutely blow by everybody, and he's got great hands. So I think that he is going to be he's going to be really, really, really under-owned just because it's the Jalen Strong effect. He hasn't done a lot this year so far, but I think this could be the week coming out of the bye. Buffalo isn't preparing for him, so I think this could be the week that we can go there in GPPs. And being Min Sal probably across the industry, I don't think it's a bad flyer to take with and get some value, because all he's got to do is catch one 50-yard pass for a touchdown, and he's paid off value. So, or he's paid off his salary. So I don't think that that's a bad option in these larger field GPPs. So let's see here. Tight end, Delaney Walker. One of the ways you can hurt the Buffalo Bills is possession wide receivers. I like Kendall Wright as well. So Delaney Walker and Kendall Wright are both nice GPP plays for me. And then I've already mentioned it, Jason Witten as well. Now remember, all of these are in addition to my cash game plays. Everybody that I'm comfortable with playing with in cash games, pretty much I'm comfortable with in GPPs unless they have a lower ceiling. And there aren't too many that I play in cash games that do have that low ceiling. So as far as defenses are concerned, I like the Patriots, the Jaguars, or not the Jaguars. I do like the Jaguars, but the Patriots, the Giants, the Broncos. I really, really, really like the Cincinnati Bengals as well. But the two that I've got in my GPPs obviously are the Arizona Cardinals and the Jacksonville Jaguars. We've seen it. Jameis Winston can throw 2, 3, 4 interceptions. He allows pick sixes. So that is something that I look for. And the Jacksonville defense actually isn't all that bad. They're on the field a lot because the offense is so inconsistent. So those are my GPP plays for week 5, guys. Hope you have some great scores. Hope you make a lot of money in your head-to-heads, your cash games, your 50-50s, double-ups, and hopefully somebody here, one of us, either me or you, takes down some significant cash and a GPP. For Spreadsheet Sports, I am Boomersdaddy. Make sure you like our YouTube page, leave a comment on Google+, follow me on Twitter, at BoomersDFSDaddy or at Sheet Sports. Until week 6, everybody, this is Boomersdaddy. Goodbye.